Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome to Rainbow Souls question and answer for your astrology. If you'd like me to take a look at your chart and answer any questions, you're welcome to post it in the chat, post it in the comments. Or you can, post information like I'm a such and such rising or whatever it is. And I'll be happy to try to answer your question for you. Hi, Tawny. Welcome. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Welcome. We are, rocking it through a Mercury retrograde. You know, are things a little crazy? Absolutely. You just seen we just spent 10 minutes trying to go on. And that's so Mercury retrograde. So obviously it's a Mercury retrograde, and obviously technology and communication are a little out of wackadoodle. And I'm glad you're all here. Glad you're tuning in. Glad you're checking us out. And I'm hoping that all of you, um, uh, I'm hoping that all of you will just chime in with anything you want to ask about your own chart. You can put your chart up, and I'd be happy to take a look at it. Hey, Samantha. Samantha said, funny about the people making home moves is things super true. Yeah. I mean, not everyone's doing it, but sure, if you have something in Sagittarius, you're probably working on moving in some way. I'm definitely working on that. Bright Hawk and I will be moving, so we're definitely, our world's a little topsy turvy right now. So thanks for understanding and being patient with us. um, we tried to be on time. We were actually on time. Facebook messed that up. So I'm glad you guys are here. So how are you guys doing in this Mercury retrograde? How's everybody else doing? How are you guys hanging through this? Is stuff going crazy? Is your phone working? Are you able to comment? Right? Okay. Yeah, hopefully you were able to. You probably felt like we kept popping up and then disappearing, right? Oh boy, Mercury retrograde. It's sometimes it can be a little laughable. I've in my experience of studying astrology and living the astrological lifestyle, I've started to actually like kind of start to laugh sometimes at Mercury retrograde. Like when stuff starts happening, I'm like, oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Oh, look, there it is. Like today I was trying to show my granddaughter a video and it just kept turning itself off. And I was like, and she's like, why does it keep doing that? It's so annoying. I was like, it sure is. And I was like, Mercury retrograde. And she was like, oh. So my grandkids are even learning, right? Samantha said she's actually having a hard time sleeping. Samantha, I think you're a Pisces, right? Well, did you know Neptune's retrograde in Pisces right now? So that probably has something to do with that. You'll probably adjust here soon. Maybe when Saturn goes direct, you'll be able to sleep a little bit better, which is actually just next week. So we might be able to, feel a little bit more comfortable in these energies, and then if you feel bigger planets like Neptune and Saturn and stuff like that when they move forward or backwards or in or out of a sign, or if they're directly on something in your chart, right? Um, Chelsea said it's been intense at my house. Everyone is feeling it. I've been dropping things a lot. Yeah, Chelsea, that's what Prey Dog does. She breaks stuff. How many times did you spill water this week, Prey Dog?
Too many. I'm sick of cleaning up after myself. Oh, and then sometimes glass is involved as well, right? Sometimes you're glad it's just water. Oh my God, pick up all the things you're about to get wet.
You are muted, but they
I
could hear you.
realize
They
that.
could probably hear you through me.
I realize that. So yeah, oh man, do I feel you. I am a Mercury retrograde natal sign. So I notice it happens a lot at the beginning and at the end of a Mercury retrograde. And then other astrologers say when it returns to what you're used to, what was you were born with natally, we do okay with it. whereas other people will be more challenged by it. So I've stayed open to that. This is where astrology helps you make peace with the tides of life, if you will. And I've learned to say, oh, it's a Mercury retrograde, therefore spend time with these things. Don't do so much of that. And, that's part of why we spend time every week doing a forecast and having a discussion about what's the weekly astrological weather so we all know how to dress appropriately, right? What season are we in? So I definitely think astrology helps us with that. And man, I totally relate with you on the dropsies.
Oh man.
I'm ready for that to be over. And I try to be careful. Even with knowing, I still, if it's not my hands, it's my elbow or, yeah.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that with Mercury retrograde, you can learn to navigate it a little bit better when bigger things happen, intense things happen, because you can kind of be on the look for it, is what I've learned to do. I've learned that when it's coming, I'm kind of like, it's going to be about this. And now here's an interesting thing, is that when the per like right this Mercury retrograde, I think it was Christopher Renstrom was saying that you'll be going in one direction and then Mercury retrograde will hit you off the path. You'll think you're going in a different direction, but then Mercury retrograde will put you back on that path. So I don't know if that's where we're at, but I feel like I'm playing a game because I'm like, so am I just doing this other path, even though I know the Mercury retrograde's likely to put me back on that other path I was originally on? I don't know. So just keep going down that path, Hollis. And it's kind of a funny thing when you know the energies are happening, because I see that even though they're still a little upsetting or frustrating in the moment, it's a little bit easier to move through them because now you recognize that this is just a process. This will be resolved. It's not so much of a like a apocalyptic, like it's the end of the world type of feeling. It's more like, okay, we're reviewing, we're editing, we're having to change a few things, we're having to look a little bit different about the way things are expressing, right? And I think that that's kind of I think that like that's kind of an important part of what we're talking about here. And I think that that is a part of Mercury retrograde, that, and Saturn's retrograde right now, but Saturn's about to go direct next week. So I think when Saturn goes direct, we'll probably sense that, particularly if you have anything in Pisces. Samantha, you'll probably feel that since your Saturn is in Pisces. That was a sneeze. So of course my, speech is going to get interrupted, right? Um, so, because Samantha was saying that she's a Libra sun and a Scorpio rising. So this Mercury retrograde is kind of messing with you, Samantha, but you have Saturn in Pisces. So that kind of makes me think, oh, you're having a Saturn returns. So, you just want to kind of hone in on what, maybe there's something in your health or something that needs to be reviewed. I don't know what house that's in, Samantha, but Saturn will talk to your work and your day-to-day life, and as well as your health.
What I was going to add, because I also have Saturn in Pisces, mine's 0 though, is this is Saturn's third and final pass through. And so anything that was coming up when Saturn entered Pisces, whatever you were working with as part of your Saturn return, whether it be your first or second, it's going to be significant. It's going to, and what house it's in is going to really help us as astrologers understand the flavor, the influences, the what Saturn is asking of you, because Saturn is a taskmaster, authority. the system, the man, so it can involve your work, it can involve your purpose, it can involve, life path kind of things. So, so I definitely have felt when Saturn stepped back into Pisces, this kind of like, oh my God, this is deja vu. This is like, for me, what would have been 18 months ago, I was doing a very similar thing. And oh my God, it's like, I'm here, I'm doing this again. And that's what retrogrades, whatever planet they are, that's what the purpose is. Okay, so one more time, have you reviewed? Are you on track? Is this what you want? That I really believe, and I love that Nadia Shah, she's a great astrologer, and she always says the universe is wise and loving. Um, it's here that the purpose of astrology is to help us understand how to live our purpose, not just in if you're listening to us, chances are you believe it's not just about this lifetime, it's about your soul and the many lives. Are you on track? Are you doing what you came to do? And one of the things Hollis is really gifted at and does readings that nobody else does is help look at that and say, wow, it's really obvious with the astrology or a synastry report that you've made soul contracts and you're on track, or life is asking you, are you on track? So Saturn is a great teacher that way. The outer planets, all of us feel, and they have really big reverberations. Whereas Mercury's really, whoosh, this retrograde will last a month. By the end of the month, the last day, I think, of November, Mercury will be turning direct and everything will start to go the other way. So, and we've talked about 6 degrees Sagittarius back to, I think it's 20 degrees Scorpio. Something close to that. And so anybody with those kinds of placements, late Scorpio, early Sag, because we are in that category, we will feel it in ways that, wow, God, why is everything so whatever, fill in the blank. So hopefully you've taken a moment to also listen to our weekly forecast. And today, of course, was a void of course moon. I didn't mean to say it like that, but yes, that's what it's called. It's called the void of course, VOC. And the void is when the moon steps between signs, and there's this moment, there's a void, there's the between. And today's void of course moon was from 9:40 this morning to 5:30. So right now it's finishing up literally in this moment as we're having this conversation. So what did you notice? The moon stepped into Leo, a fire sign, out of its home, watery Cancer. And so if you have placements in those things, you might have noticed. I do. I'm a 0 Leo moon. So lunar return for me. Everybody gets one every month. And yeah, I would say it was a planning day. It wasn't terribly dramatic. I definitely had to deal with dramatic information, but I felt like we did a really good job managing that. And that's what a void of course moon can help all of us do. Is the moon, when it's in the void, means that it has very little dramatic energy. It's all about emotions, The moon, of course, affects our tides inside and our emotions. And so that's why you want to pay attention, especially if you're a Cancer moon or a Cancer rising. The moon owns you. And you may feel like, oh my God, I'm so moody. And you're running with the tides of the moon. It's not that you're necessarily moody. Well, it could make you that's for sure. So understanding it is a really good idea. And that's what we're here to help you understand whatever your rising is, what placements you might have on these super lit up spots in the chart. The other thing we have going on today, of course, is an opposition, because Pluto is sitting at 1 degrees in Aquarius, which is opposite the moon and Jupiter. at 1 degree. Right? Jupiter right now is like 25 degrees Cancer, and the moon's just passed over it. And so now it's directly opposite Pluto. And Pluto, of course, is all about transformation. Are you willing to transform? What are you willing to do? How much do you want that? I think we can understand some of this, yeah? And the other thing that we've had a lot this month, and we have it again this week, is grand trines in water, which means very blessed energy. In water is all about, again, the emotional realm, right? So we have big void moons on Monday and on Wednesday. Wednesday, it's 5:30 a.m. all the way to midnight. So pretty much from the time we wake up to midnight, when time we go to bed, most of us will be in bed by that time. It's a void of course moon. And this time it's the moon moving out of fiery Leo and into earthy Virgo. And tell me if you notice these void moments, like, I got more done today and there was less emotional energy. I wasn't so ADHD, or I wasn't so squirrel. We have a lot of them in our place. We live in the mountains. So, yeah, rabbit holes, whatever term you want to use. So how's that working for you? I'd be curious.
Well, I was looking. Oops. Oops. Sorry about that. Chelsea, I was looking at your Scorpio Sun, Taurus Moon, Taurus Rising. What I'm just gonna say is, first of all, Scorpio is opposite Taurus, so your rising and your moon are opposite your sun, which is already a difficult placement. And then anything that's running through either one of those sides will be in like opposition. And this you're gonna end up, well, not completely. I mean, they won't be conjunct, but Uranus is backing up into Taurus. It's in Taurus now. And then you have the Mercury retrograde coming back, but it's only going to 20 degrees Scorpio. But there might be some messages about your life path or some things that you might receive during this Mercury retrograde period that could be important in relation to maybe like any kind of investments you have, or um anything like that, because that Scorpio sun, it's not just because of your Scorpio, but it's also because of the opposition there in Taurus. And with all that Taurus energy and Scorpio at the same time, it could have something to do with your life, or it could have even something to do with your health or your well-being or your vitality, those kinds of things. You're going to probably notice those kinds of shifts, Chelsea. So if you're seeing that, if you're sensing that, if that's going on, just hang on there and just navigate through it. Just listen for the messages, hear anything that has to come through, and take action based on that. um so that's an important, and it's an important thing. Samantha said it's in the fourth house. Saturn retrograde. Yeah, it's been a very fourth housey type of thing. Isn't it weird, Samantha, when things happen and you're like, gosh, you cannot make this up. You can't make this stuff up. I know, right? This Mercury retrograde is going between my Neptune and Brighthawk's Neptune, both of us in the house of money and stuff like that. So, and of course, we're selling a house, right? And that definitely involves money, right? Okay, so it's literally this Mercury retrograde is going between my Neptune and her Neptune, both in the second house, but in different signs, Sagittarius and Scorpio. So it's hilarious because we're just kind of like, are you serious? Like, we couldn't make this up. Of course we're selling and buying a house together. Like, of course we're doing this. And then on top of that, Uranus is in Brighthawk's eighth house, I think. So that's like investments and stuff because it's in Taurus. Remember, I said Taurus is about investments and stuff. And so you can't make this stuff up when that happens. You can't make this up. It's like you're looking at it and it's kind of a weird thing because you recognize that what's happening in your chart is exactly what's happening to you. Now, this Mercury retrograde won't manifest the same for everyone, but everyone will have something going on, and some will be at a higher magnitude than others based on the placements of that. And that's what affects it really, is do you have any planets in Scorpio, in Sagittarius, in Taurus, in Gemini? Do you have placements there? Do you have something in Cancer? There's a lot going on right now, just because of the energies, because there's so many big planets. Like I said, you won't feel the big planets unless they're directly on something that's in your chart, or they're going backwards or forwards, or in or out of a sign. And they're all doing that this year. That's what's made this year so intense. But man, we are building some resilience. Let me just say that. Now, Samantha said that she felt the void on Saturday. She said, I did nothing but rest. Today, I was just calm and able to get work done without interruption. I wish I was, Samantha. I felt very scattered today, very scattered. But I'm a Virgo, and Mercury is my ruling planet, right? It rules my chart, that and Uranus, and both of them are moving around right now, in a way that can create a little bit of, um, you know, little bit of feels like the universe is stirring the pot like this. So, um, Astrid, I'm sorry that you're sick from lupus. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry you're struggling. That sounds like a really strong thing. I'm not sure what you want to know exactly. I can't predict death if that's what you're asking. I don't do that. Um, I can help you. I do wellness reads, which is where I can help you find maybe some alternative choices about how to handle the lupus, or how to live with the lupus. Um, but outside of that, I'm not really sure exactly what you're hoping for. So yeah, so like I said, you can comment your chart if you'd like. If you comment your chart, I'll be happy to take a look at it and answer any questions you might have about it. Or if you want to post something about your chart, please post it. You know, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was that, like, when you're navigating, um, navigating astrology, when you're navigating astrological um experiences, I think it becomes easier to navigate it when you understand what the universe is trying to say to you, right? So that's the power of astrology, because you can make sense of what feels like otherwise a clusterfuck. Okay, so when everything's going crazy and you're like, what is this all about? You can make sense of it by looking at the astrology. Nancy said, my ascendant is 28 degrees Pisces. Okay, so Saturn and Neptune are on your ascendant, and Saturn is 28 degrees Virgo. I think the South Node might be on there, and on the seventh house cusp. Are you ending relationships right now, Nancy? I feel like my life is changing with transiting Neptune and Saturn going over my ascendant. Yes. Absolutely, Nancy. That's exactly what I'm thinking about. But because of that 28-degree Virgo on the cusp there of the seventh house, um, so I'm just wondering, Nancy, right away, I'm thinking, gosh, is that um are you having something in relationship? It doesn't have to be romantic relationships. Are the people that are in your life, are they changing, or are you kind of like seeing something that you didn't see before, realizing someone's manipulating you, or realizing some sort of relationship has to shift, or something like that? Like, is that what's going on for you, especially with that South Node Virgo there? Because that's it, whether it's in, I'm assuming it's the seventh and the eighth house, or is it the seventh and the sixth house? What's the rising? Pisces, right? 28 degrees Pisces. So I think I think the Virgo on the cusp would be on the cusp of the 6th and 7th house, Nancy. So if that's true, then yeah, that's going to adjust on who's in your life day to day, probably like coworkers or something. Do you have anything in the 11th house in Cancer? Do you have anything over there or in the 10th house? And where's the ruler of Virgo? Where's Mercury in your chart? And where is Neptune? And yeah, where is Neptune in your chart? Yeah. Yeah. Where is Neptune? Not the transiting Neptune, but the your natal Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, which is where Saturn and Neptune are. If you look at where your Neptune is, it might give us a hint about what's changing. And also where the south node is, the Mercury, your natal Mercury placement will also tell us a little bit more about that. Um Patricia said that she's a Virgo too, and super emotional. Dreams are all over the place, sending emotions all. Patricia, I have all. I had the weirdest dream because I think because I've been like looking at houses that we might be interested in. I had a dream that I was in a house and it kept getting revealed, and then I could see that it was beautiful stone, and then we walked in and there was this like oven, and then all of a sudden the oven was cooking something, and it was burning, and so there was like smoke coming in out, and I had forgotten that I put something in the oven and I had to take it out. That's what happened in my dream. That's all the dream was. That was it. And then I woke up. So I totally get it, Patricia. Like trying to make sense of some of these dreams, you could just be like, what? Okay. I totally get it, Patricia. And you know what, Patricia? I think when you're emotional, ask yourself exactly what the emotions are about. Are they about what's happening now? And since the South Node is in your sign, or are they about something from the past? You have something you got to let go of. Maybe you want to, maybe you want to check out Mystics Academy because we're doing shadow work this month. If you join Mystics Academy, we're doing shadow work. So you want to join at the novice level. It's only $37, and you can save $11 or no, sorry, it's $37 to join for the month, and for that month, it's $37.77. When you join, you get a $25 coupon off any reading. You get $50 off any coaching package. You get a 1 hour teaching video. Well, it's actually two. It's like an hour and a half about shadow work. It's a lot of information. And then you also get to attend events. We've already had the meditation event, but next week on the 19th, we're going to have a readings practice group. And even if you don't do readings, that's okay. Come to it because you'll get free readings by people that are learning from me. And then also we'll be doing a readings party at the end of the month, and there's a free event on the 23rd where we'll be doing magic together to work on our shadow work of what we have to let go of. This is a perfect time of year to let go of old crap that's weighing you down, stuff that no longer serves you, and that's what Mystics Academy is all about. Every month there's a new theme. This month is shadow work. Next month will be Yule. If you don't know what Yule is, it's sort of the original way of celebrating Christmas. And it gives a lot of, I'll give a lot of origins of things like the tree, and gifts and Santa Claus and all of those kinds of things. But also you'll learn ways to celebrate it in your own life in a different way that has more spiritual meaning, that is not Christian related. It's more of witchcraft. So if you're interested in witchcraft or an alternative spiritual lifestyle, that's exactly what Mystics Academy is all about. And you'll also be able to tap into other mystics. You'll be able to study along with them or receive the benefits of being in the community with us. Okay, so just saying that, Patricia, because I hear the emotional part. I totally get it. Shadow work is really powerful. I wish the whole world did a little shadow work every year. If we all did just a tiny bit of shadow work every year, man, we would be a better world. Whew, good grief, would we? Monica said, "Hey, hi, Monica. Good to see you. Glad you're here."
Samantha
Samantha
said,
said,
Can I take that one?
yeah,
"Yeah,
go
go
for
for
it.
it."
I love that you asked this probably because guess what? I have Jupiter retrograde. And I remember her really going over this the very first reading I had about my chart. So the first thing she was saying about Jupiter retrograde is you will go against the beliefs that you were raised. So I, of course, am one of those people that calls myself a recovering Catholic. And of course, I live a very, what would you say, Buddhist, Wiccan, pagan, whatever, earth based spirituality, all those kind of things.
If we're born with Jupiter retrograde
If
in
we're
our
born
chart.
with Jupiter retrograde, we will challenge the beliefs and the traditions that we were raised with. Okay, that's number one. Because Jupiter is all about our philosophies, especially as it is expressed in Sagittarius. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. And of course, if you know Sages, we love philosophy. So when Jupiter is retrograde in your natal chart, and and what sign it's in and what house it's in, of course, is going to flavor it. But bottom line, you're going to challenge the beliefs you were raised with. It also is a challenge because you might doubt yourself. There might be some self-sabotage in there. But what it's also going to make you think about, it's going to make you think about your purpose. It's going to make you think about your beliefs, and you're going to decide because it's retrograde, will internalize. I'm not sure I believe that. I'm going to think about that. I really like that. That makes sense to me. So there's an internalized process that is what happens in a retrograde, especially with Jupiter. The other thing that happens is Jupiter, of course, remember, ruler of Sag, travel and other cultures will be very important to you. And because you're a person who has strong beliefs, because it's retrograde, the best thing you can do is excel at becoming an expert in the things that you have expertise in, and trust that. And the more you develop that, the less you'll have to deal with your self-doubt. Makes a lot of sense. When we have fears about something, I'm not good enough, the best thing to do is educate ourselves and, pop that bubble. Oh,
So what
yeah.
about when it's transiting, Bright Hawk?
When it's
I think that's what her question is.
What do you feel about Jupiter retrograde and usually presents us? You mentioned in the video it happens every year, and I'm wondering what themes you usually. This is what I'm saying. This is what,
Okay.
and this is what I'm saying because I know it's in my natal chart, and this is what there's an opportunity to check in on, and that's what Jupiter retrograde represents. So I'm not sure I answered
I
your
think
question relative to the transit, but I did relative to what does Jupiter retrograde mean, just because I've had to learn about it myself. It's my ruling planet. I'm a Sag, but it's retrograde. So I do not consider my Jupiter a very strong planet in my chart, even though it's my ruler, because of the way it's aspected. I consider Mars very strong in my chart because it is sitting on my ascendant, which is a very powerful position. So that's also what we look at. And yeah, so I'll let you go.
So what I was going to say is that because it's a transit, since Jupiter is going retrograde this week, what you'll notice when it goes retrograde. So first of all, Brighthawk will probably, at first when it goes retrograde, she might question her beliefs, but she'll probably revisit her beliefs a little bit, but then she'll start to feel comfortable because she was born with Jupiter retrograde, so was I. And so both of us will probably feel a little bit more comfortable about our intuition. Now, if you're born with Jupiter direct, you might question that a little bit more. Okay, when it's changing direction, everybody's probably going to question it. But once it gets going backwards, me and Brighthawk will probably feel very centered in our belief systems. In fact, I would say just about every single Yule, we revisit the beliefs that we want to do for Yule, and we talk a lot about our belief systems around Yule and around Christmas and the holiday in general, and how we feel about things like capitalism and stuff like that. So, and that's Jupiter. That's Jupiter, and Jupiter is often retrograde around around now. And so sometimes it's not always Christmas time, but I'm just saying that, like, when Jupiter does go retrograde, it's usually kind of makes you, at first, when it first goes retrograde, you're going to revisit your beliefs. Jupiter rules beliefs, it rules expansion, it rules travel, it rules luck, good luck. And some people say that Jupiter won't grant your wishes until it goes direct. That could be true, but I have not found that to be true for me. But it could be true because I was born with Jupiter retrograde, right? Like, I actually find that my wishes are actually better filled when it's retrograde. When it's not retrograde, I actually have a harder time. So I'm wondering, Samantha, so check it out. If your Jupiter is natally is direct, then watch and see what happens for the next few months. Because it happens. I'll check and see how often it happens, but I know that it happens pretty regularly. And I didn't know exactly when in the video, but I do remember saying something like that. And the thing is it happens on a regular basis. I think most planets go retrograde on a regular basis. And we usually feel it. And when Jupiter goes retrograde, yeah, it does go retrograde once a year for approximately 4 months. Yep. Okay. So
March 10th. It'll go retrograde until March 10th. So quick reminder, the Mercury retrograde will end November 29th. Saturn, just before that, Saturn retrograde will end and go direct November 27th. And then the Uranus retrograde, it'll go direct February 3rd, and Jupiter March 10th.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jupiter, I would say that for the next 4 months, you're probably going to revisit your belief system. What is your belief system, and where is Cancer in your chart? That's probably where it's going to speak to. It will also speak to
Mercury
oh my gosh. Like, my phone, I barely scraped my phone and it started some reel. That's exactly what happened. I was like, what is that, Bright Hawk? And then I looked down, there it was. Okay, so so
you just can't make this shit up.
you can't make it up. Wow, it's crazy right now. Okay, Nancy said no relationships right now. Well, you must have some. What about relationships at work, Nancy? Are there coworkers or something, or people that you deal with day to day? Something that you're revisiting about your day-to-day life? It's got to have something to do with that. Patricia said same, and they don't make so much sense. It's all past stuff. Patricia, then that's shadow work that you need to do there, sweetie. That's exactly what I suspected it was, just because it's the south node. And this Mercury retrograde, since it started and since it's headed back to Scorpio now, and Scorpio tends to be shadow work, and this tends to be the time of the year for shadow work. So that's why I'm doing it in Mystics Academy. I mean, you save a lot of money. It's totally worth doing. You can choose to get a reading or not. Either way, you get at least the readings party. You get to attend the practice. You get to have access to that video I just released the other day. Plus, you get the free event where we'll do a shadow work sort of spell or transformation. Bright Hawk and I'll be hosting that on the 23rd. Okay. Monica said, why do I not remember my dreams? I hear something the day of waking up, and then all of a sudden I believe I seen it in my dreams. Am I nuts? First of all, I want to say, Monica, this probably has something to do. Usually, dreams have to do with your Neptune placement. So if you look in your astrology chart, the Neptune has like four. It's like a three-pronged fork. It's like circle with three prongs on it. I'll see if I can find an image to share. And so once you find Neptune in your chart, then what you do is you look and see if there's any red lines to it and what sign is it in. I don't know how old you are, or I could guess how old you were. It could be in Capricorn, which might make it harder to remember your dreams, because if it's in an earth sign, I find that people with Neptune in earth signs, we have an even harder time remembering our dream. I mean, my Neptune's in Sag, and my dreams are crazy. They're as crazy and unpredictable as a Sagittarius. And so, it's definitely, Neptune has a lot to do with it. And right now, Neptune is retrograde and will be for a while. And until it goes direct. Brighthawk, why don't you tell us when is Neptune going to go direct? I think it goes direct in February. I could be wrong about that. But when Neptune is retrograde, you tend to have a harder time with it unless your Neptune is retrograde. But I would also look to see if there's any red lines going to it and what sign it's in. And then I could probably help you figure out ways so that you can remember your dreams, or certain approaches that might make it easier for you to remember your dreams. Okay? You are not nuts, Monica. You are not nuts.
November 23rd.
November 23rd, it goes direct. Neptune?
Wait a minute.
It could be true. Samantha, right? The mind blown with all the flight deductions at this time, right? Yeah. Right?
December 7th.
Yep.
No.
Yeah. 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 Nancy says that she's retired, but she's close to your daughter. So, Nancy, what is it about your day-to-day life that is shifting right now? Is it that are you totally isolated? Because that's also a thing that it might be speaking to, Nancy. I would say that south node that you have there on the descendant might be speaking to letting go of isolation. Maybe you've been isolating yourself in retirement and spirit wants you to have more relationships. Maybe that's the problem. So if you have absolutely no relationships, or the only relationship you have is with your daughter, maybe you need to make some. Maybe spirit's asking you to look at your day-to-day life. Maybe you need to like get some volunteering, or go protest or something, or go volunteer to feed hungry people or something, so you can make some friends and get out there and feel good about your day-to-day life. So that could be what spirit's kind of trying to speak about, right? And Nancy said, I've been in hermit mode in the last 2 years. See what I mean? And I've been doing shadow work and introspection. I understand, Nancy. And like I said, we're doing it at Mystics Academy. You're welcome to join us if you feel like you need that's a great way to kind of start to put your toe out there and get a little support from others. It's online. It's a little less in your face. Sometimes being online and online communities are a little bit softer than meeting people in person right away. And it's a community at Mystics Academy, and we all work together and hold each other in our shadows. We're all coming from different walks of life. So maybe Nancy, maybe that's what you should consider. Maybe that's what you need to do, especially with that south node in Virgo right now. It's asking you to let go of the old ways, to let go of the way you've been doing things. It's asking you to change your ways. So and it sounds like you've been kind of doing that, but at some point we have to make connection. That's what I've learned. And as much as connection is hard, let me tell you, I get frustrated sometimes with people in my life and relationships, and I can get really frustrated with people all the time. Not with Bright Hawk. No, I like her. That's why she sticks around. No, I can get really frustrated with people. Like I'm total one. Sometimes I can get frustrated with people And in the last few years, I've spent a lot of time online in online communities, and I've just come to realize that it's you're you know you have to learn to accept people, hairy eyeball and all, even with their weird quirks and their because isolation is not good for us, because humans are built to connect with each other. We're supposed to be connected. We're supposed to be not just connected to a partner or a spouse, but we're also or children or whatever, but we're also supposed to have friends. We're supposed to be part of a community and be connected. And that can sometimes be hard. I've been in a couple of cults. I've been in some abusive, crazy, like, oh my God, communities where you're like, really? And yeah, really. And I've had to walk away from those groups. And I do think that to some degree, in some toxic situations, you definitely need to walk away. There's definitely been some communities that I definitely had to walk away. Okay. It was for my best interest. Um, and um, I also think that you have to compromise in community. You have to compromise with people. And I think that act of compromising, and even when people trigger you in community, when they kind of tick you off, when they piss you off, when they say things or do things that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they said that. Right. Okay. And you get upset. You have to hopefully have, at least maybe you talk to your daughter, where you can vent to her, and she can help you work things out. But the point is that you still have to connect with people, because it will actually make you sick not connecting to people. So if you're retired, you're concerned about aging and your life and your health, and so you want to be aware of, you know connecting to others is important. It's an important thing to do, right? And I was just watching a listen to a longevity expert, and some of the biggest markers for being able to live a nice long life. And maybe your daughter's going to have kids and you're going to have grandkids, and I'm sure you want to be around for them, Nancy, is you know eh, is that we want to try to live a long, decent, high quality life. And the only way to do that, one of the best ways to increase your life, is to not only work on your mental health, which I hear you've been doing, but to also be connected to people. And to be connected to people is super important. It's not the first time I've heard it. I've heard it so many times, and I'm like, okay, Hollis, you got to figure this out, because it's going to make you sick otherwise. So I can't just run away and cut everybody off, even though it would be so much easier if I could. Eventually I'm going to have to, tolerate certain behaviors and certain things, and just figure out that that's their quirk, and you just accept it, right? And so, but at the same time, you have to figure out where your boundaries are, right? At the same time, you have to figure out where your boundaries are. And I think I've figured it out. I hope I've figured it out. And I think that what you need to realize, Nancy, is that it's probably time for you to come out of that cave. And I'm glad that you realize that, especially with that south node there. I'm pretty sure that it's what it's speaking to. You got another year of that south node in Virgo. So maybe take it slow, there's no rush. Just, put your foot out there, go to a little of this or a little of that, and see what happens. Okay? All right, you guys. Does anyone else have any other questions? Bright Hawk, is there anything going on in that group?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just checked and...
So if no one else has any questions about their chart or anything like that, we'll leave you with the energy of Mercury retrograde. Hi Tandy. It's Mercury retrograde right now. It's Jupiter retrograde. So, hang in there, my friends. It's going to be going on for this month. The best thing to do is try to ride the waves and be aware. Try not to get yourself too frustrated. Try not to get caught up in the energies, and just know that we're riding. Okay. Tandy, I'm saying what you need to know. Mercury's in
Exactly.
retrograde right now. Jupiter's going retrograde. You can check out if you're on YouTube. It looks like you're on YouTube, Nancy. Or sorry, Tandy Wall, Tandy 7137. Tandy, what you do is you go to the main page and it should have the video. Okay. And you could just go to that video and watch the main forecast. Okay. And that'll help you. Okay, so Chelsea, mine is too. Jupiter in retrograde in Aries, exactly. So Chelsea, you might find that your belief systems might shift while it's changing direction, but then once it shifts, you'll actually feel more confident about your belief systems now that Jupiter is retrograde, and you might find that your wishes come true because your Jupiter is retrograde. So you're kind of more at home, and so your wish it'll be easier for you to manifest things right now. Or for me, mine's in my 6th house, so sometimes when Jupiter goes retrograde, it's easier for me to manifest my Jupiter, which because my Jupiter is also retrograde in the 6th house, so sometimes it'd be easier for me to start like certain health habits or and stuff like that. Okay, so you want to take advantage of this time. Check it out, what house it's in, and then try to like focus on that area and see if you can shift your beliefs in there, maybe expand your horizons, and also look to see where Sagittarius is in your chart and see if that also applies, if that house also applies. Okay, so Tandy, what you should listen to that video. It will help you a lot this week. We actually do a weekly forecast, and there will be horoscopes. I got the horoscopes. They're set up to release. I'll be releasing them a little bit later this evening. You should be getting them. They'll start to come up, and that could be really helpful for you. So check out your horoscope. It will be in the reels of this channel on Facebook or this YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you're following us, so that way you can search through all the reels and find your rising sign and your sun sign, and you want to listen to both of them and then combine the two together, and that's going to be what your week is about. Okay, that's going to be, I'm going to talk about the mostly I talk actually about the Mercury retrograde and the grand trine that is happening this weekend. So I'll give you so that horoscope is in this week's reels, which will be released in just a couple of hours. So make sure you're watching this channel so you can grab your horoscope for your sign, every zodiac, and like I said, your sun sign and your rising sign. If you happen to not know what your rising sign is, what I would suggest that you do is you go to my website, and I have a guide at divineandrogen.com that specifically says exactly how to get your free it's just a couple of bucks, and it will show you how to get your free astrology chart, how to find your sun, moon, and rising, and it will kind of tell you what that is basically from a real basic thing. But it's a really great thing to have, especially if you want to listen to our weekly free forecast. And when you come here to ask questions, you'll have more information because you'll be looking at your chart, and I'll be able to answer specific questions, Tandy. And what you'll find is that astrology is the most accurate, in my opinion, and in my for 37 years 37 years of working with divination, mysticism, and such, and mediumship. I'm a great medium, but astrology is way more accurate. Astrology is flat out, you can't make this stuff up. Okay, it just happens. And then once you start to see it and you're watching it happen, you can use astrology to navigate in your life because it's your map. I believe that we're all born with our astrology charts in order to help map our life so that we can move through life in a good way, so that we know what to do. I don't think we're meant to be feeling lost and broken and all of that crap that we feel today. And the reason we feel that is because we disconnected ourselves from astrology over 100 years ago. And had we not done that, maybe we would feel more connected, because doctors used to have to use astrology to help diagnose medical problems and things like that, and we stopped doing that in the early 1900s. But before that, we've humans have mostly used astrology, although it did, of course, also get put away during the Spanish Inquisition. And I'm sure there's been other times in history that astrology's had to hide. Most of the reason that astrology has to hide is because every time you read about astrology hiding, you learn that the reason astrology is hiding is because it was so damn accurate. We are seen as evil. So, like, an astrologer will predict that someone's house is going to burn down, and then it burns down, and then the person is like, oh, this person is evil, she's a witch or something. And it's not that the astrologer caused it, they just seen it coming. And so that's a little bit different than causing it, right? So I predicted that a lot of us would be having big emotional shifts this week, okay? So hopefully you can grasp a hold of that this week, Tandy. Hey, Chelsea, with your Jupiter in the 12th house, this is going to have to do with your belief systems about yourself. I bet that you have a tendency to sabotage yourself. Do you say no to things that you don't even know what you're saying no to? Do you deny your intuition, your psychic abilities? Maybe you resist certain hidden parts of yourself, or you keep those things hidden. So now, as you grow out of it, as you're older now, and when Jupiter comes in and out, pay attention to what belief systems are triggered by that. What sign is Jupiter in? It's in I think you said it's in Aries. So if it's in Aries, that's very much about your boldness and about your willingness to go forward. Maybe there's moments where you feel like you should go but you don't, and you hesitate, you don't have belief in yourself, like, oh, I couldn't possibly do that. But you can possibly do that. That's kind of what Jupiter should speak to you right now. And so it's going to shift your beliefs as Jupiter shifts directions. And then you'll probably find some resolution to that this weekend. Okay, Chelsea? So Jupiter is actually also in the house of Cancer right now. So that would be like somewhere around your third, fourth house is where that's going to be. So that's Cancer, and that's where Jupiter's transiting right now. So it will probably also trigger something maybe about community, the people around you, maybe your house. You're not selling your house, are you? That would make sense. Go watch the main forecast so you can learn all about this week's forecast and tap into that. All right, you guys. I hope that you found this useful. We're so happy to come in every week and answer your questions about the astrology. Bring your charts with you. Ask us questions. Post your charts in the comments. We want to look at them. I want to answer your questions. Patricia said, "Is there a sign matchup to no?" There is. It would have to probably do with your fourth house or with Cancer, Patricia. Have you had a house fire already? Um, like if you go back and look at the dates, I could probably find it for you. Okay, but it's very hard to just explain here on this live. It's not as simple as, oh, you have Mars in Cancer. Like, it's not that simple. It's just not that simple. Astrology is never that simple. It's like more like, so Patricia, the best way to do it is to go to my website and get the guide on how to get your big 3, the astrology beginner's guide. It's just a few bucks, okay? Get that, and then get your natal chart. It will tell you how to get a free astrology chart, and then cast another chart just the same way you cast your natal chart, but cast it with the day your house fire was, the day that happened, and then post both of those on next week's question and answer, and I'll show you guys how complicated it can be. but also how simple it can be so that you can see things like that. Okay. Aloha said, I don't believe that we moved away from astrology. I think it was systematically taken away from us. Yes. Yes, that's true, Aloha. I would agree. It was systematically, a lot of things have been, but in a way, humans have moved away from it. Like there's a lot of people that don't believe in astrology because it's woo woo, right? Because it's weird, because it's not something you can hold in your hands. It's not proven by the scientific method, right? And science has tried to study astrology, but sometimes there's a lot of nuances that we can't always answer and phenomena that we can't prove, such as like past lives and things like that. But when I say them to you in a reading and they resonate, that's true in my world. If what I say resonates with you, then it resonates, right? So I think that this is part of the human transition. I think this is part of astrology has been part of a bigger thing with humanity, and it's making a comeback. It's making a comeback, and I'm glad. And I feel like it's so hilarious because you know, I raised my son on his astrology chart, and now I raise my grandchildren on, and they're starting even so much younger. And it's great to see young kids be curious about themselves and learn about who they are through their astrology chart. I think it's a powerful thing that a lot of us could have and benefit from. If you know your astrology chart, you will just make so much gains in your life. You will make such better choices. I can't really imagine what you would do without it, to be honest. Sort of like driving across the United States without a world map, without a street map, with no GPS, nothing. Just winging it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't even imagine doing that. So, big love to all of you. Um and I look forward to seeing you all next week. And I would love to look at your charts, Patricia. Love to look at that house fire for you, and I'll spell it out right here. I'll share it with everyone if you want, if you're okay with that. You can always block out your birthday once you cast the chart. Just black it out or something, and then post it as a comment once we get started. And I'll take a look at it, and I'll be happy to read it right here on the chart for everybody, so everybody can watch me, and I'll show you exactly. You could also message me directly. You can message me the dates directly, and I'll do it just to show you guys how it shows up. I'm sure it's in your chart somewhere, Patricia. It probably has something to do with Pluto.
So what we would want is your natal chart information, which of course is your time, date, and place, of course. And then if you have the same for the time of the fire, time, date, place.
All right. So it was beautiful hanging out with all of you today. I hope you had fun at this astrology reading today, at this astrology thing. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Make sure you check out the horoscopes that'll be releasing in just a couple of hours. I look forward to hearing about you. Make sure you comment. Let me know if that's what happens, if it resonates with you, if it's what's going on. Let me know. I want to hear about how the stars are affecting you in your day-to-day life and how you're navigating this Mercury retrograde. I wish you all the best, and I pray that you may navigate it with as much grace and peace as you possibly can.